Welcome back, everyone, to the OS World Cup 2020. The quarterfinals weekend continues here with another losers bracket matchup between Poland and Finland. These two fighting for their lives in a true David versus Goliath here. I'm Doomsday, and joining me in the cast is a fellow Brit, which you heard a bit earlier today. It's the impressive and amazing Bubble Man.
You flatter me.
Well, it's true, isn't it? I mean, these guys watching World Cup, these guys know what you're on about. Excellent player and an excellent caster.
Oh, you stop it! I'm blushing.
Yeah, what do you think about this match?
I've been doing my research. When I was gathering stats to commentate this, looking at them on paper, Poland qualified 3rd, Finland qualified 24th. However, last weekend, Finland scored on average higher than Poland in the maps that they shared, and even in general.
It's not what you'd expect, right, going into this. Finland against a team like Poland, but yeah, the head-to-heads from last week really favour Finland in the maps they played. I think, how the maps they both played? Finland won 2 of those maps when Poland only won the 1. 2
Indeed.
DTs and no mods.
Yeah. Now, you could argue that they're similar skill sets, right? But that's still 2 maps, 1 versus the 1.
Yeah, it was the Finland beat them on the No Mod 5 and the DT1. No Mod 5 being fairly speedy No Mod pick, and then DT1 was like the more standard of the DT picks that round. But there were high scores, like almost 3 million on that No Mod 5, over 3 million on DT1. Those were decent runs. Going into this match, that might be.
I'm very excited for this, because the way I see it, and being brutally honest, the way I see it is either Poland wake up and bring their A game, or we're gonna have a match on our hands.
Well, if there's any time they have to bring it, it's right now, because it's life or death. And Poland, the last couple years have had moments where they've blinked in the situation and gone down earlier than many would have expected. Don't make it 3 in a row for them, but I'm sure they know that. Finland are actually coming into this tournament with a very tidy roster, but no doubt this is going to be one of their greatest challenges in this tournament, taking down Poland here.
They've definitely added a lot of talent to their roster this year, and they've got a lot of returning talent as well. Freezed comes back, and Freezed was one of the players that I was watching with vested interest in the early stages of the 2019 tournament. He's back. We've got players such as Samoyed Bolex. We've got Wookie.
There's no doubt that Freezed is their star player, like one of those top players in Finland right now, and in the last couple rounds he has been their linchpin. He's played every single map so far and has consistently top scored among everyone. So definitely the guy they're going to be looking for on especially the trickier maps in this pool. But as you mentioned, they do have a tidy roster and a good all-round set of players here. And the big question is, yes, they did manage to do well on those speedier picks, but across the board in a best of 11, they need to show some endurance.
Indeed they do. We've got a couple of bans out already. Of course, the banning, now that there's 2 bans, the first ban is taken by Team 1, and then Team 2 bans 2nd and 3rd. Team 1 bans 4th. So you get first ban and last ban, or you get the middle 2. Of course, in this scenario, Poland were Team 1. Poland were chosen, I don't know who by, to ban first. They banned Temptation. Oh no, I'm reading that completely wrong. Finland were chosen to ban first. They banned Black Joke, and then Poland ban. They take Temptation and Hifukiyama no.
You know what? Actually,
Looking at reading that.
Sorry, look at those polar bands, actually. We mentioned those are the two kinds of maps that Finland won in terms of the head-to-head last week, but they're both banned here by Poland. They have done their research.
Indeed. Are we looking at a more prepared Poland for this match than perhaps we were last week? Finland trying to, I would assume, trying to take Wolf Bartek out of contention. Banning that hidden 3. Of course, they can't ban another hidden map, so that does leave the AR8 in the pool.
A Black Joke pick, that hidden 3, is one of the harder maps in terms of tournament consistency, so certainly a map where the highest skill set teams can push on that, and Poland are certainly one of them, as you mentioned. But yeah, the AR8 being open is going to be a good pick for Poland. I'm not sure if Finland really have much of a sort of reading roster as a 4, but we'll see. And then number 3 coming out as well, the alternate heavy, like low BPM stream pick almost from Nomod is gone. No VTubers, they've banned both of them.
And they go straight in. Almost obvious.
Just right itself, this hidden 2, the low approach rate AR8 hidden.
A little bit of national pride there.
Yeah. The Potovnik mapping, looking over the Polish team, try and see them through here. And yeah, right off the bat.
Yeah, he'll see them right.
Oh yeah, of course. It's got their back, right?
You see the starting rosters for each team. Who do you think is going to be in for Finland to play this? It's almost obvious who's going to be in for Poland, but...
Yeah, it writes itself, the Polish roster for this. But when it comes to the low AR hiddens, it's a bit more of an interesting one for Finland, because I don't think they've played much of this throughout the tournament. Actually, at this point, it doesn't look like either Finland or Poland have really played the low approach rate hidden until this point, in terms of the hidden pool, so...
I would wager that's because it's been banned out versus Poland.
Well, yeah, naturally. I wouldn't be surprised, but in the Finland matches, though, this is uncharted territory in terms of this tournament.
The only real comparison we've got, and it's a really interesting comparison, this one, is from qualifiers, where Poland scored 2.578 million, and Finland scored 2.572 million.
Okay.
Is this map similar enough for it to go that way?
Oh, well,
of course, that's honest, not... Go ahead.
No, I don't think it's very similar, because that was more of a sort of a low BPM stream pick. This is more of an old style AIM, traditional old map AR8 pick, right? So they're differing maps, but I would say that map was also quite a nasty low AR pick, and this one, maybe it's comparable in difficulty to that. But a different sort of map, honestly. More about the aim on the AR8. Very, lots of geometric shapes.
Oh dear me, Wolf's gone already.
Oh. A slow start, Shake out the nerves. First map. He knows what he's doing. He knows how the early miss works.
That's true. You do miss early, you get a buff for the rest of the map. Freezed Bolex, Hades. All taking the same sort of approach to it. Marek and Bolex trade their combos. Was an FC for Marek, so that's gone now. As expected so far, Doomsday?
Yeah, so far. Hank Selly coming in for this, they're doing well this far, and I believe he was the only player that didn't play the low approach rate in that qualifier. The rest of the roster is the same, but it's the new guy coming in actually doing well for his team so far. They're certainly in it. Some of the harder jumps in this first chorus are hit by a lot of the Finnish team, and they are still very much in this, although there's a bit of bollocks there. Still doing alright. Out of the first chorus, and it's fairly close, I'd say. Decent start here by Finland. Poland hanging in there. The FCs are gone, though. It's the reverse choke by
that was
Wolf
a big gap close.
Yeah, it is.
Over that stream. Wolf's gone as well now. That's a 500 combo down, and the lead is going to flip over to Finland momentarily.
Okay then, yeah, they take the lead, getting into the next chorus here. Big jump spike here. And Molex is the only break there. Still massive combos on Hades and Hexeli here. Minor combo lead.
Bartek drops 400. It's a big detriment for their team. It's only going to increase the rate at which the gap is widening, especially since we're so close to the end of the map. That might even be a near FC for Hexeli.
I think it is.
In fact, it is an FC. Yeah, it got
Oh, okay, never mind. It's close enough, though. You know, give him that.
Hey, wow. Close enough is good enough. Good enough for a break point on the first map. 1-0 to Finland.
Now this is a start. This is going to stir up the pot a little bit. Right off the bat, the low approach rate dropped by Poland. Rather surprising point, but props to Finland. What a great start and some good scores. Hades and Hexeli. Very nicely done. It's just a one miss from both of them at the end. Well, the start even from Hades, end for Hexeli. Very nice.
Very well done. There was some good scores even on the lower combos. The accuracy definitely playing a part in this. And they have the pick, they have the momentum. They can take this match wherever they want to take it.
Open pool to peruse. If they wants to go for those head-to-head attempts, Finland, they can't because Poland actively banned those maps out. But there are plenty of maps in the pool similar to what was banned.
Indeed, and it's a very speed-heavy pool. They don't go for speed, though.
Hard rock 2. Here comes the cross time. Small circle size, hard rock pick.
Not biased or anything, but best map in the pool.
Best map in the pool. Fantastic. They already get bonus points in my books for leaving this open. Absolute classic. Although this is the new set, there is a very famous old map.
Yeah.
This is the modern rank map.
Yeah, why isn't FF Fanatics in this pool? On hidden. AR, what was it? AR4? 3?
AR4, yeah. I think it's AR4.
AR4 on hidden. That'd be brilliant.
Speedy burst, you know, doubles.
Yeah.
Put that in as a finger control kick in falls. Good do it.
There are definitely multiple maps in this pool that are the best map in the pool.
Looking straight into small circle size hard rock is an interesting choice by Finland. They do have some very good hard rock players in their ranks though. We do see some swaps to compensate. Shadow's joining in here, replacing Hades. And one of their more accomplished players this year and had a very good run. Played very well in the last couple of rounds for the team. Ditto on the Polish side as well, seeing a few swaps, seeing Mastache join in on this one, and also Rafis steps into the room.
We've got Rafis in for CS 6.5.
He's definitely handy on hard rock. I mean, it's not what he's known for, but
he is. I'll admit, I wasn't expecting that. As well as Bartek in for 6.5. That's really quite interesting to me. Is this them picking their strongest players, or do they just not have the players for this?
Only time will tell.
Possibly a major weakness. Although, yeah, only time will tell how well Bartek and Rafis actually do on this.
It's a short one. You mentioned earlier about this being a very chokeable map, no doubt, because of the stepped 1-4 doubles, lots of just awkward double angles you got to take and spacing changes. So it can be a little bit of a coin flip at times. You really got to be careful, and one miss on this really stings to get one of those chokes.
There's one of those space doubles. Catching Bolex out, he drops his combo. I'd be right in saying that's where most of the difficulty for this comes from. Those spaced doubles. I would say there's really not much more difficult in the map.
With the exception of just dealing with the consistency on this pattern, yeah, but more of these doubles coming out, and they claim a few players, but mostly on the Finnish side. It's 3 FCs to 1 here.
Yeah, all the combos were claimed.
They're all gone. Just Freezed left. The MVP for Finland here, but not going to be enough really with this slow part. Poland going to run away a little bit. Those players coming in seem to be doing pretty well. Bartek and Rapis holding, well, near FCs.
Oh, come on.
Well, Rapis was, you know.
There goes Bolex, though. That's a trade-in combo favourable to the Finns. Wolf drops his FC. It's 1-1 with 200 supporting combos, but Freeze sadly finds a break. And that will be all she wrote for this one. It will be Bartek carrying it home with his large combo. Might be full combo if he hits those doubles. And it is. He locks it in.
Finish that one off in a nice flurry. Bartek coming in and doing excellently.
3 S ranks, only one of them are FC.
All those kick sliders.
Lucky. Yeah.
So if you slip on one of those doubles and you miss the slide ahead, you get one of those S's. Both of those S ranks from Wolf and Freeze been claimed by those, but still some decent runs, some nice accuracies on the board, especially on Freezed. Almost 99 there. It's a solid run by him. But it will be another break point. They can't bank that one after taking the AR8, and we start off this round with both teams dropping a pick. Poland next to pick.
And where do they go? It's looking like we have a match on our hands.
Yeah, this is a competitive start for sure. Finland coming into this one with good mindset, fighting well, but plenty more of this match to go. As for Poland, I mean, they do have plenty on the board that they should have a good match against Finland on. With the map that these two played that went the way of Poland was in fact the DT3, which was the kind of trickier finger control pick of last week. But the analog here is a nasty 10.3 pick. It's not too comparable. Well, it is, but it's quite a big difficulty spike up.
Yeah, I would even say the more comparable map is No Mod 6. It has those rhythmic finger control elements. The low difficulty we kind of expect from a rhythmic map. So, yeah, I would wager that's more of an analog than ET4 is. Either way, neither of those is the pick. It's Hard Rock 1.
The Hard Rock 1, the classic, and Poland did excellently on this last week. I believe they had the top score, I think, on this, if I'm not mistaken. They had a very, very high team score.
Yeah. I would have to double check that.
It's up there, with no doubt. And with the roster they have, you shouldn't be too surprised, but this is a strong power pick here. You want to get your mechanics-focused players in for this. Finland are doing so. We're seeing Jerekek join in, as well as Samoyed. These two known for their mechanics in the Finnish community. Jerekek, quite a high-ranked player. Samoyed, well-accomplished tournament player. Played many over the last 12 months.
And yet another map that could just go either way given the players that are in the lobby.
That's how it goes on the day, really. That's what these maps tend to come down to. The star rating certainly is getting up there. It is starting to push on the mechanics wall for a lot of players, especially in the lower seeds, but I think this is still in the range where it could go either way for sure, depending on the daily performance.
Let's see what we got to work with.
Let's take a look then. Do you see a Marek Marucha join in for the Polish side? but the rest of the team staying the same for Poland here.
Marek, a very competent mechanics player in his own right. Some very early slip-ups. This map really does just get straight into it. Get straight down to business.
Yeah, it does.
Catches
really
people.
Quick opening. Yeah, the Finnish team are all down at this point.
Yeah.
Rough start for them. They weren't quite on it there. But with this being the Hard Rock 1, it's a long map, lengthy, plenty of time for comebacks to happen.
It's just catching out everyone. Wolf and Bartek are down now. Samoyed loses the combo he'd been building up.
Yeah, it's advantage Finland actually. Yeah, the
full combo left.
Quite strong player to have the high combo on these maps though. He's been doing well on these No Mod 1 Hard Rock 1 star maps. But he needs to hold because Finland are definitely on the tail.
Actually on the tail, but they're losing ground. Jared misses. Just seems like none of these players can settle into this.
Approaching halfway, still a good amount of the map to go. And it's still anyone's game really, because I say both teams having a few consistency wobbles, but there are players finding their footing, like Freezed is finding their footing, and Mastash still with that FC, having no problems at all, just wondering what the issue is. It feels like everyone in Poland's recovering, and that's not good for Finland as we get into the next hard part.
Samoyed's down. Shadu's down below 100 combo, just reaching it. Looking a little bit dire for them. Third of the map to go.
Another slow part here, and the combo lead further increasing. Marek with the break, but they are still way in the lead.
Oh, double miss. The same note, Freezed and Yera dropped the combos they'd been holding, and now it really is looking dire. I don't think there's anything that could swing this back in the Finnish favour.
Apart from a meteor striking.
Nobody's happy with that. Look at the cursors go. They're very in sync.
Yeah, they both use the same note as well. It's the synchronization, but that's the thing with these maps. You can be fine the entire time, but you just get one little slip on one of those jumps, and you just lose it. That's sort of how it is. But you do have to say, this one has been more of a consistency drop, because a few players have had issues. But it's unfortunate for Freeze, who was holding a very nice score to drop that on that jump section. But Poland recovering where it was needed the most. And that is a big, big win for them.
That's the largest win this weekend, I think.
Yeah, 1.2 million. This was a power pick, no doubt. And it worked exactly how they would have hoped it would, and more. That is emphatic. Great FC by Mastash there.
Great act too, 10 100s. That would have beaten a hidden SS.
Finland with the next pick in tow, though.
Oh, look how tragic that is. It's 280 combo maximum on Shadu's. He had 5 misses and 4 100s.
Oh no, I didn't actually realise how low his combo was. Wow, that's really unlucky.
Every 250 combo or so, he missed 5 times.
Yeah, that's actually brutal. Glad you caught that, because that was actually a decent run in terms of the very, very good accuracy, but combo game, you gotta hold those combos.
Yeah, indeed. Just unlucky.
Is it time to start peaking its speed, you wonder, for Finland here?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be. It could very well be.
They do have players that are very comfortable in that style, but they're not going to be going for it yet. Going to go for that very tech-heavy pick. Tech Streams in No Mod. Bleary Vagary as their pick. This is quite a ballsy pick, picking this into Poland. But Finland picking this early.
It is indeed, especially with Marek, Bartek on their team. Two of the players who have been really impressive this year in terms of tech. Bartek with Hidden, but he can play Nomad just as well. But at the same time, what else do you pick? Of course, if you're Finland and you think you can win on speed, there are, say, 3 speed maps left in the pool? That would only take you up to 4-2, at the very most. So you've got to find your points elsewhere as well. You can't just go just for speed.
Yeah, with the length of this match, yeah. It could be handy to leave that for later, where maybe, you know, if the worst happens for Finland and they go a few points behind, yeah, saving those picks for then might be the better option. I do agree with you, actually. This is still a tricky pick, especially, like I said, you're playing this into some very good tech players. It's also rather short, 2 minutes long, and quite nasty with the patterning. Lots of directional changes on weird beats. Like I say, these are tech streams in every sense of the word with the way they duck and dodge around. So not only are the players on the board that can play this very well, but 1 or 2 misses can absolutely ruin your day against players like this. But Finland do have some very handy players on this style. We do see Wookie join here. Hades returns. Of course, Freezed will be in for every single map. He hasn't missed a map yet. So he will be rooted in that spot this entire match. But there's a big player swap for Finland. Let's see if it works out for them.
Taking the players who may have been affected by nerves from the last map. We'll see if this makes a difference.
It's a slow start, but the map will pick up around a quarter in. Harder streams certainly in the middle, and longer streams near the end define this map. Oh, right there from Poland though on that first little pentagonal stream. Rafis, who jumped into this one, claimed the first break. But here we go.
He trades with Wookie. That's a combo for a non-combo, so that's a favourable trade. It resets the combo. However, the lead is in the favour of the Finns. Everything remains as it is. They will take it, but it won't. Bartek finds his own drop, as well as Mustache and Rafiz. Wookie trades, and as does Bolex. But that's 2 FCs to 1. Marek holding strong. However, 1 FC does not beat 2. Mustache, Bartek both miss again. Freeze finds a drop. His combo is down.
That's the hard section over.
Indeed, very slight advantage to Poland right now in terms of combo. It's going to be a slow gain, but is it too slow?
Well, here comes the more streamy ending. Another hard part here.
Bolex finds a drop. The lead is getting relatively close. Marek drops his FC. Bartek misses as well. And Hades, though, does follow up with his own drop. Freeze against Rafis now, as well as Wookie. With a supporting combo, 2 combos are going to build faster than 1. And unless either of those drop in the end streams, it will be a point to Finland.
The gambit pays off. They do get it. Just about. Held on to that lead.
Of their teeth.
It was heroic though from Rafis, really pulling through there. Very nicely done, but too little too late. The first tough section really claimed Poland, and Finland pulling through with 2 FCs through that section.
It was just a simple slider break from Freezed too. Great accuracy from him, 99.35. You see the 50 there? That's the saddest 50 I've seen in a while.
Brutal, man. That is brutal. But Freezed, he is the guy. Once again, another great score by him, but it was a great run by Hades as well, who really pulled it through at the end there.
I just want to take a second to talk about the mental game that must be going on here, because Poland come into this as the 3rd seed. They are on paper down to win this match by a landslide. Finland come in as the 24th seed, and you look at this match as an outside perspective, and you think, yeah, Poland have got this. But if you go toe to toe with your opponent in this, the pressure is all on Poland right now. Finland, they're the underdog. They've got nothing to prove. Poland, however, they have everything to prove.
It's brutal because regardless of what happens here, if Poland actually managed to get through this test, they got to play another game. And yeah, no doubt, this is the one where they would have gone into it being like, okay, if we lose to this, that's just brutal. But we've learned this tournament so far that seeding doesn't mean a whole lot once the rubber hits the road. We've seen it time and time again this tournament. It's been thrown out the window.
Mod 1, the decision made by Poland. They took home a mighty fine 3.4 million on this last round. We didn't really see anything from Finland on No Mod 1. They didn't pick it. So playing to their strengths, yet again. They've got a map they know they can win on, at least in theory.
We saw on that Hard Rock 1 that in terms of a mechanics test on Hard Rock settings, it was definitely not even close. There was a big comfort difference. But with this one being off of that Hard Rock setting onto more standard CS and AR, might suit Finland a bit better. But nevertheless, yeah, mechanics-wise, Poland are certainly one of the very top teams. Even when they have those underperformances, they always show up on maps like these. So this is a really good pick by them, I feel. As long as they don't drop the ball now, and they don't usually on these No Mod 1s.
Yeah, there's a baseline of consistency that you can see from these guys. I don't think they're going to drop below it. But at the same time, that baseline, can Finland rise above it? They have the consistency on paper. They could really take the fight to Poland here.
Interestingly enough, actually, there's a very different roster compared to that Hard Rock one. Freeze, of course, plays it, but the rest of the roster is different. Hades, Bolex, and Hexeli didn't play Hard Rock 1, so going down Plan B route for the mechanics test here. Or at the very least, the players that really don't like Hard Rock.
All of these players in the room here will be used to playing mechanics-centered mapping. You're not going to find a player in here who could balk at this kind of thing.
No, not at all. Although at this stage it is starting to push in terms of mechanics consistency. This is still very much in the reign of the level of player we have here. But yeah, it could be, you know, the occasional big jump spike could potentially knock consistency a little bit at this level now.
Consistency falters. Bolex finds the first miss. So Finland have the first drop. Followed up, however, by Marek. And Toy Starry too. That's 2 FCs down, traded for 1.
Yeah, that jump spike claims many players, but the genuine took a chorus here, and yeah, it's still in, you know, dodgy territory for both teams. They do have to hold through this. It is looking good though for Finland though, as we get out of the first chorus. Everyone holds.
We lose Bolex right at the start of the chorus, but he holds through the rest of it.
TFC's to 3. Map will pick up in just a moment. Just in case I'm watching for those big jump spikes again. There's one just before the chorus in, well, basically now. Straight after this break, as they see where they stand.
Everyone gets through the streams. Making the intro jumps. Freeze trade for Bartek. That's 1 FC for 1. And Mastaz drops his own. There's no FCs on Poland. Just 2 500 combos. Fighting against 1 500 and 2 FCs for Finland.
And they're through the second chorus. There's some shakes coming out
Masters
from Hades.
isn't happy. Look, he's cursor dancing.
Oh no.
You hate to see it.
That's brutal. He's excellent on these sort of maps, but he just gets that one dodgy slip at the absolute worst time because Finland are now running away.
Everyone hits the spike too.
Now this is a surprise. This is a very good Poland map, but it is going all wrong here for the red team. Finland really running away, but there are combos on the Polish side. It's not over yet. But time is running out because it's 400k.
Polix finds another miss, but it won't matter to this late in the map. He's done his job. He's put his 500k up. He doesn't need to do too much more. There's no time left. Ending spike. Everyone hits it bar one. And
that is 2 FCs from Finland.
They lock it out. Poland. And remember what I was saying about pressure? You're the 24th seed. You can go into these completely fresh. Poland. Are they feeling it? Are they crumbling?
Well,
they're down now.
They are down, and that was a dropped pick of their own as well. But it's just still plenty of time here. Poland are really good at bringing these comebacks back in the past, but they got to do it now. And I bet Finland's tails must be right up after this. This is a great match by them so far, and they are in a great spot here with the next pick in tow. Gotta say, that's a very good team performance. Like 2 FCs on this with the other 2 players over 500k. That is a good team score by Finland. That's really impressive.
That's a hell of a showing.
Now, they went for the tech map in no mod for the last pick. The no mod pool is starting to thin out now. All the standard maps are pretty much gone, with the exception of some of those DTs, possibly. I guess free mod 2 as well. But, Hard Rock 1, no mod 1 are gone. Oh, here comes that no mod 6. Okay, then. Piano X Forte, picked by Finland. More weirdness. I mean, they did go for the tech map. I suppose this one is not far from the tech tree, although it's a very different kind of tech. Rhythm, trickiness.
A lot more technical on your aim as well. There's a lot of back and forths in this that involve circles. You could even call them tiny 280 BPM jumps, but you could just call them wiggles, can't you?
Yeah, I'd classify them in that. Like, don't really feel like jumps that you make super deliberately. They feel like you're just dealing with tricky spacing within a small time frame, really. So it's more about the control than it is about mechanics. So this map has some big spikes with those in terms of like the tricky spacing, and especially in the choruses. One near the middle, and there's one right at the end as well. The ending's quite hard on this.
Indeed. It's so difficult with rhythm too. You've got all of this to deal with your aim, and then on top of that, you have to focus on tapping the circles, which is not an easy task.
Nah. So not only do you have to deal with that, but you got to deal with all of those 1/8s and 1/6s in between 1/4 slow streams. Seeing some swaps coming in now. Toy Story's back in, but Tavoy Stara joining in for his first map in this match.
I believe so. We will be getting into it. Priest and Hankseli stay in. Wookie and Samoyed swap in for Finland. And if this goes the way of No Mod 4, we're going to be looking at 4-2 to Finland.
Wookie did play the No Mod 3 tech map earlier. Samoyed came in for the hard rock, but coming in for this more rhythm heavy pick. Fairly lengthy one. And a map with a lot of areas where it slows down somewhat. So getting out of those hard sections into those slow parts can be very valuable skill-wise. Especially past the middle section, there's a bit of a slow part where you can rack up some combo score. Check out the accuracy to see how people are feeling in the early days. Most people having decent ac, but Iwuki and Tomoya Stara finding early breaks.
There's a trade that goes on. Combo for a combo. No real advantage gain, none lost, but there is now. Samoyed drops FC. 400 down, and it's 2-1. Or 3-2 even. Poland in the driving seat. Also after that, Pink Selly finds his own break. Early on, this was looking like quite a large mispick from them. Looking at how stable Poland look.
At 99% accuracy almost from Marek. Really showing a level of comfort. You can see people who are fairly competent at this holding like a 97, but you really have to be comfortable on this to hold 99 at this stage.
And the last FC's down. Last Bastion freezed. It's just 2 300s left for Wookiee Samoyed. And when you're staring down 3 FCs, halfway through the map, third left to go, and there's a 400,000 point lead. There's really not much more that you can say.
Yeah, this is looking brutal.
The writing's on the wall already.
I mean, players are recovering somewhat on the Finnish side, but they're not able to hold massive combos. We still have that accuracy from Freezed, but yeah, it's looking night or day, this one. A massive breakpoint, it looks like. And we'll see how long those FCs for Poland hold. Well, there goes one, but there's still 2 of them to nothing.
Absolute humongous mispick. They're not going to make this mistake again.
Well, there isn't really any maps quite like this in the pool, but yeah, we were talking about how this one might be a decent one for Poland, and it seems like it's working out to be so. This also hands the pick to Poland, so after they've had a wobble, they have the experience to potentially do something with this. Of course, we'll see. At the moment, excellent stuff in terms of this map from Poland. Just the 1 FC though, almost.
There he is. Locks it in. More than 1 million points.
Fantastic play from Marek. 98% full combo.
Absolute whitewash.
Yeah. Freeze with a nice ac, but yeah, unfortunately just wasn't there for Finland. Next pick will go to Poland, and they can look to get their lead potentially on the board. Once again. But this is a proper tussle as we get into the halfway point in this match. Both teams bending each other off. You got to say there's big wins for Poland and close wins for Finland. But that's all they really need. So far, both these teams showing good competition on different sorts of map types. But the map pool is starting to thin out now. Running out of those comfy picks at this point, possibly.
Comfy picks or uncomfy picks?
You're running out of comfy picks. But we'll see. And there's still plenty of DT on the board, and I still think that might be a decent shot for Finland. But I suppose they don't want to pick it into Poland, who are also very solid on DT. I don't know, eventually they're going to have to dip into that, I feel. There's also no free mod play here so far. But that's gonna, I think that's about to change looking at that chat.
Free mod 1 pick. Confirmed by the captain himself. Wolf in the room taking couple breaking.
I'd imagine he'll be taking this one. He'll be the first in line to play this one.
A song that's been around in this game for a long while. There was an Angel Honey map of this. KTGster remapping it, paying homage a little to the old Angel Honey map, throwing it in the World Cup map pool. Kind of a mix of typical KTGster and a little bit of Angel Honey patterning in the breakdown. Lots of zigzag streams.
So KTG2 has had quite a few ranked maps recently with those zigzag streams. So if you've played any of those sort of maps, you'll know exactly what to expect here, except, but look at those difficulty settings. AR 7.8, CS 4.7, throws a wrench into the works there. Even lower than what he tends to use. He uses a lot of AR8, but this is even lower than that. So hidden is particularly difficult. Unless you're Chile, apparently. I mean, they picked 2 hiddens earlier and managed to win the point, which was incredible to watch. But I don't think we'll see that here. But I guess we'll see. I mean, they've been proved wrong before. And Poland have enough hidden players to do that. I think we'll see quite a few hard rocks, though. Hard rock overmodding has been quite popular on this. So I won't be surprised to see more than one on one of these teams. The big personnel swap for Poland. 3 players swap out. Only Bartek remains to take the hidden. So Wolf will be on the no mod. Finland will be taking 2 swaps. Looks like Henk Selly swaps out for Shadows. Oh no, it's a 3-man swap, sorry. 3's the only one to stay. And we are seeing massive overmodding. Hidden hard rock on Bolex. Hard rock on both Shadows and Freezed. So it is going to be Finland that do the overmodding. Well, a few early breaks on this. Adjusting to this map style, certainly not easy. And a few players see drops on that, but it is 2-1 on those drops. VFCs to 2 in favour of Poland.
Card is finding some real trouble on this.
Yes, his accuracy is telling a story. Presumably he's the one to just take the hit, let his team do the work on other mods. At the moment, they're keeping the team in it.
Shadows and Bolex are down. This is that little bit that pays homage to the Angel Plenty map. Different rhythms.
As soon as it started, though, it claimed the FCs on Finland. It is 2 FCs to nothing. And Poland looking in a really good spot for taking their own pick now, claiming the lead back.
Well, Hardest hits both of those wiggle streams. In my opinion, the hardest patterns in the map. Very impressive.
Yeah, he's recovering nicely now. His Akin combo shooting up now. I feel like even if he was holding comp like FC, though, he wouldn't really be keeping his team in this, because as a team, Poland are definitely doing an excellent job on this.
They knew this was their jam.
And that is 2 FCs. 2 of the veterans of the Polish team get their team over the line here. Rafis and Wolf.
It's not quite.
Okay, 1 FC and a near FC. My bad. Close
Unlucky.
enough. You know.
Poor Wolf.
Poor Wolf.
Doesn't quite get it.
He
Rafis,
knows
though,
this
9 100s. Impressive
well.
accuracy from him, yeah.
He seems to be one of the main players for the small CS. He's been in for a few of those, and we can see why based off that performance. It's a fairly decent pick into Finland, forced to overmod it and getting some decent runs. 600k on Shadows and Bolex, but not quite enough against a team like Poland. They have too many players too comfortable on this sort of thing.
Yeah, there's nothing to scoff at from them, but hey, when you face someone better than you just have to kind of say well played, concede, and then move on. And move on is what Finland will have to do. It is their pick. They decide what goes next.
They've been picking a whack load of tech, and that is not going to cease here. Here comes Tantan Men, Hard Rock 3. More techiness. They really are favouring that in this matchup.
Indeed they are. Would you think that this is much lighter in tech than anything else? There's just a load of kick sliders.
yeah, it's not exactly as bonkers as some of the other maps that they picked have been. This is more or less just dealing with kick slider heavy patterns on the OD10 AR10 more than anything else. So in terms of mechanics, it's not actually that tricky to deal with the rhythms. But with the high OD and that small circle size, you've got to be wary of dropping slider ends and dropping notes on this map that has a very high tempo because of those. I mean, we've seen Hard Rock 1 go extremely well for Poland, and I feel like this map, I feel like you can apply the same sort of skill sets, especially with the players they have. Playing that Hard Rock 1 and playing this ain't going to be a massive shift in reading or playability, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think I'd say the same. Also, sat on the thought that Finland picking speed, I know we've said that it might be good for them, but it's not really the same sort of speed as it was last week. Last week there was a lot of bursty. It wasn't really too taxing on your tapping hand, whereas this week we've got a lot of stamina in the DT pool rather than speed. I'd even wager the only speed map, quote unquote, is DT1.
Which is banned, so. Well, looking at that previous Hard Rock roster, looks like Rafis is coming in for Wubblefulf. Yeah, instead of Wubblefulf, it's Rafis compared to the previous Hard Rock.
Wolf maybe not feeling himself.
He hasn't played too many maps in this game.
Oh, he hasn't played too many maps in this tournament. Marek continuing his trend of early misses, matched by Freezed, but Bartek follows up.
Another really short one. Early misses really going to sting you.
Freezed stung again. He's got accuracy there, but with a miss from Wookie, Poland now have the combo advantage. Big fashion Shadows finds a miss too. And all of a sudden, we're halfway through the map with no FCs on Finland. Bolex drops.
Yeah, all dropping it in that bridge. Bolex was the last to drop, and yeah, it's all Poland here right now on this one. Slightly easier section here, and yeah, Finland can't really combat this with much of a combo, unfortunately, as we hit the slow section. The map doesn't really change in style either. At this point, Poland just needs to keep cool.
Indeed, I don't really think there's a way back into this. Masters nearly finds a drop, but manages to hold on, streams a few 50s. Wookie and Bolex do, in fact, lose their combo. Freeze and Marek trade, Master and Bolex trade. Shadows misses. Still an FC and a large combo for Bartek. There's nothing Finland can do here. It's over 1 million points again. Now I think we have to start asking the question, was this a mispick, or do they have no maps left in the pool to pick?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like this would be a decent map for Finland for sure. But the issue is they're against Poland, who this is also going to be a very decent pick with their Hard Rock lineup. It could be a case of, yeah, just struggling to pick maps that they know they can win on at this point and seeing what happens. But that is their last pick if they can't take a break point now for Finland.
Indeed,
so it is a tough spot for them. Approaching last pick for each team, though. This is going to be Poland's last pick. And if Finland win it, it's Finland's last pick. So Poland needs to go for something strong, really. No point in holding anything back anymore. If they have been, of course. And, well, there's no Hard Rock left. There's still a hidden left in Paradiso Inferno. Very aim-heavy. Pick that.
They've got DT2 to pick from. I mean, they've got Bartek, Rafis, Marek. They have a DT core that is almost infallible.
They do. They do. And you're mentioning that, yeah, DT2 isn't like those DTs that Finland won earlier. But I do feel like Finland have a good roster on a stamina-heavy pick. Maybe they don't have 4, but they do have some core players that if Poland drop the ball, maybe they could potentially nick. You gotta say though, Poland are becoming more and more confident as this game is going on.
And I think they'll get more and more confident as the tournament progresses. Poland definitely a team that struggles in the early stage. They get an incredibly slow start in tournaments, but their end game mechanics are second to none. And this is the first time we've seen this map.
Yeah, here comes that Kokoro Odoru.
Best map in the pool.
Oh, it's a good map for sure. I mean, I can't knock my cross tongue, but you know. Second is good too. Yeah, man.
I keep finding myself whenever this plays, whenever I find it in my listing, I just play it because it's such a jam.
Hell yeah. There's also a really cool love map for it as well, which for some reason has like OD4 or something, but there's a few good sets for this tune. Absolute slapper. Not surprised to see many maps for it. I mean, it's a fairly high BPM, awkward aim map, I'd say. I wouldn't really call this an alternate map. It's 226 BPM. Most people will be single tapping that unless they main the alternate playstyle.
I think so. It's also 8 on 9, so awkward aim on this. At that BPM, it's quite dense. You can be wanting a player with the hidden reading, basically, on hidden. I think Hard Rock is going to be a much more favorable mod to put on this.
I don't think either team are going to have problems finding Hard Rock players for this. I wonder who picks the hidden for Finland on this one, though.
I think it's going to be Harders again.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. We did see, actually, even though we did struggle at the start of the super low approach rate map, which is different to this, but still density heavy. He really recovered in the second half, so now maybe he's found his warms coming into this pick in terms of the density hidden reading.
Well, match point. Poland, if they take this, they take the match, and a scary match it's been for them.
Absolutely. They really will be relieved to get past this scare. Finland have put up a great fight, but it's not over yet. I feel like this map, with its awkwardness, could lend itself to dodgy misses and just not being your day on this sort of map where you just get a string of misses for a good section of the map. It can happen to anyone. That said, though, I'd feel like this is a good pick for Poland with their mod roster. On a map like this, it's not an easy one. It's one of the most awkward ones in the pool, in my opinion. So, we'll see how it goes. Plenty of time to get warm for a map like this. Lots of overmodding again on the Finnish side. 2 Hard Rock players.
Poland playing it safe again. 2 no mods. You see a no mod on Hank Selly. I think before we had a hidden Hard Rock on someone. Trading that out for the no mod. I would wager that's the better decision to make.
Yeah, you don't take risks at this point. Like, no need. The score game is not that worth it.
Really struggling early on. He's not holding combo. Like I said, it's early. Just find another miss. Not comfortable at all on this.
Still PFC to 2, though, so still a lot of combo in the field. Oh, there's the break by freeze, though. Never mind. Just before the break, too. Poland in a great spot, and we see it as well. It's on Wookie.
Breaks in this.
Oh, there goes Hardy's as well. It's on Wookie now to make something happen, but it is looking real scary now for Finland here. Poland about to survive a real scare here if they can hold a little bit more. They do lose an FC. It's 2 FCs to 1.
But there is a supporting combo on Masters, and it's looking like it's stabilized. They're looking far more confident now than they were at the start. Finland possibly even just running out of mechanics. Skill capped a little bit on a harder pool. Bard is playing with smoke now. Not happy.
Yeah, it seems like Hardy seems to have just chilled out now. 500,000 in the lead though, and it's looking like, regardless, this is going to be going to Poland. Wookie though, holding that FC, doing extremely well with the Hard Rock. He's the highest score in the room. Slower partner here, but looking like it might be the victory lap here for Poland. Looks like Finland are going to be going home, but not without an immense fight.
What a fight it was at the start. They took it 3-2. They took the lead for a brief moment. 3 breakpoints in the first 5 maps. 2 of them from Finland. That's very impressive.
Yeah, they did not make life easy at all. Going for that tech-heavy pick style start actually went on to work out really well. Especially on that No More 3. But yeah, it looks like they just ran out of steam.
They did what they could.
Will was FC's finish off. Wookie drops his FC. His team's recovering, but it is going to be Poland's night.
Yet again, it's 1,000,000 points. It's a big win for Poland. They run it home.
It's actually really good FC by Bartek.
Yeah.
Hidden FC on this is no joke. Very well played. As well as Wubblefulf. He ends the game in style. His team has done a lot of the work, but Wubblefulf, the captain, ending it with an FC.
He put in his fair share. And they get a win out of it. 7-3, Poland take it. Finland, unfortunately, are going to be sent home. A big fight, a great match. Very well played by those guys. Yet, Poland, just too strong, the number 3 seeds. They move on. Fight another battle tomorrow, I think.
Yep, and who is that battle going to be waged with?
I have to take a quick look for that. Yeah, very well played by them.
Yeah, great recovery after, a few wobbles. But Finland, you got to give them props. They're building up their roster and really had a decent run here, and that was a great fight. That's a great way to end a tournament.
I am so impressed. I'm really impressed by those guys.
Yeah, it looks like Poland are going to be facing off against Russia tomorrow, which promises to be a spicy encounter.
That's going to be a fight. If the scorelines are anything to go by, Russia and Malaysia went 6-3, Poland and Finland went 6-3, so this is going to be a right knees up.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, both these teams had to get past lower seeded opposition and they were given a stern test, so we'll see how the credentials look in the next game. But that next game coming up as well, that is one that a lot of people have been looking forward to, and for good reason. It's coming up in 28 minutes time. It is going to be a USA taking on Brazil in the winners bracket.
And I think, if I'm not wrong, you have the joy of casting that.
Actually not, no. It's going to be casted by 2 cool guys, though. Yeah, we are switching out. I believe this one guy and Aza are going to be the guys giving you the cast here. So
You're still going to be watching it, though?
Oh, for sure. I'm going to be lurking hard. I'm so curious about that match. Of course, more to come on that one when we return. But yeah, no doubt. I'm lurking that match. That's going to be great.
It's going to be absolutely insane, if anything to go by. If last weekend was anything to go by. And of course, it's almost historical as well. USA and Brazil, they fought in 2017, I think, a fated match between those two, where Brazil took the USA 6-4. Brazil dropped down to the losers bracket. However, was it 6-5 even? Because they went to tiebreaker.
Yeah, they did. I remember that.
The 2 scores on the tiebreaker were the highest of the round. So they scored first and second. The winner scored first, the loser scored second. Brazil dropped to the losers bracket, but revenge, 3 years in the making. Can it happen? I believe it can. I think Brazil have what it takes.
I mean, they've already taken down Australia at this point. You never count Brazil out.
Yeah, they felled a Titan. There's one more to go.
That is coming at you in 26 minutes. So we'll see you guys back here for that matchup. Do not go anywhere. It's going to be great. More OS World Cup 2020 quarterfinals action coming to you later on. So see you later.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to OS World Cup 2020 quarterfinals weekend. We've seen some great matches already today, and they're about to get even better with the first quarterfinal of this year's tournament featuring Team United States against Team Brazil. I am this one guy bringing you this match today, joined by my good friend and colleague, Azer. How are we doing today, Azer?
I'm doing great, honestly. USA versus Brazil is definitely up there, I think, in terms of like the quality of matches that we're going to see this weekend. I think obviously everyone is familiar with how dominant the USA is, but I think a little bit of people have been sleeping on Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil comes in as the number 9 seed through the qualifiers process. Matched up last week against 8 seed Australia, took them down 5-3. They're a team that scales very, very well through the middle rounds of a tournament on the map pools, like we're seeing this week with players like Mouse Easy, Nissan, Korean Maluko, and so on. So they're a roster that I think you absolutely cannot sleep on against the United States, who really, at this point, will not have yet reached their absolute full peak and potential like we see them on in those finals and grand finals matches, which adds up to make for a very exciting matchup here today in the quarters. USA, of course, once you get to those late stages, they'll be relying on guys like Vaxane and I'm a Fancy Lad and so on for their late round carry performances. But for now, it's going to be the whole team that's going to be playing a big role. Everyone on that roster is on it for a reason, and they all perform very well when called upon. If there's one thing you can say about the United States year in and year out, it is that they perform to a level that is expected of them, which is something not every team can say. United States has been to the winners bracket side of the grand final 4 out of the last 5 years. Of course, they are 2-time defending champions, and so there is always a lot on the line, and you cannot ignore the mental factor of having to play that team coming up against them, no matter who you are, whether you're Brazil, Germany, South Korea, UK, it doesn't matter. You're playing the United States, and you are always the underdog.
Yeah, there's definitely you get like a debuff playing against the USA. It's just a lot easier to be as confident as you would like to be. I think depending on the players, of course, but yeah, it can be pretty rough. It can kind of throw expectations out of the water sometimes. Like we've seen a lot of teams like historically perform really well overall, but as soon as they match up to the USA, they just flop completely. So hopefully that does not happen in Brazil here, because I am really looking forward to see this team's true potential. Again, year after year, it seems to me like Brazil just has a lot of potential, but they always get they get some tricky matchups, and it doesn't end up happening too well for them. But yeah, no, I don't know. Like with Mouse Easy on the team, it's hard not to believe that this team can do great things.
Yeah, Mouse Easy is, I think, right now, inarguably their most important player. He was their best performer last week against Australia. I would go so far as to say he's the reason they won that match against Australia with his ridiculous performance on almost every single map. But, of course, he is backed up by some great players as well. You saw Mistia performing very, very well. You saw Nissan performing very, very well. You saw Korean Maluku performing very well. There's not a lot in common to compare between the two teams' performance last week. The United States, of course, won 5-1 against Romania. They only played 3 maps in common, and the United States did emerge victorious in their compared scores on all 3 of them. But I think considering their skill sets and considering their performances on the different styles of maps they played, I think it's a very interesting matchup that, looking at, you know, our bans and what we'll end up seeing for picks, is going to be, I think, very important to determine the outcome. And how this match goes. You know, you already see Brazil starting out with the free mod 1 ban, kind of trying to eat away at that niche kind of skill set of the United States. Meanwhile, the United States gonna maybe look into some of those DT and speed picks, because Brazil looked very good on them.
Yeah, USA is actually so flexible when it comes to their bans. Typically, they never end up banning like any in any predictable fashion, really. Like they. I think the only thing that's really known about them is that they're like usually not fans of Nomad 1. I think everyone knows about that. Like it's usually the map we'll see the most upsets on, and it's like still the case against the USA, but they never really ban it or anything. They always have different bans depending on what their opponent, or like what they think their opponent is really good at, which is always interesting to me. Like they don't have a glaring weakness, you know? You can't go like, oh yeah, this team is bad at, I don't know, Hard Rock, so we're always going to ban Hard Rock. Like that's just not a thing with this team.
Yeah, that's, you know, the biggest thing with the United States, I think, and one of the things that we talk about a lot with that team, is that they have these ridiculous top-end players. I mean, we can, ignoring the Vaxays, ignoring Fancy Lad, ignoring last year like Idke, but the United States has such a ridiculously large player pool to draw from that they're always able to pull players from it to fill whatever needs they may have. And so that, I think, is the biggest contributing factor to just how well-rounded they are year in and year out. Every single time they put together a roster that, just like you said, it just has so few, if not zero weaknesses, because they can just find players, whether it's new people like this year bringing in Kublaze, bringing in Rectagon, you know, or whether it's kind of the returning guys like Apraxi, who's been on the roster for years and fills a very specific speed niche. Things like that are just really, really big advantages for the USA.
So that's pretty interesting. So USA just tried to ban 2 DTs at once. That's not allowed. They kind of give away that maybe they're not so confident on DT1, and now that has to be open. They can't ban it. So we kind of have to see if Brazil wants to capitalize on that at some point.
Yeah, we did see Brazil looking pretty good on the double time picks last week. They put up a near 4 million score on double time 2 last week, as well as a 3.6 million score on double time 3. Meanwhile, the USA didn't play a single DT in their win against Romania, so not a lot to look at for the USA. You know, a team that, if I was going to try to come up with any weakness, it might be just kind of raw speed. You know, they've obviously got Vaxay and Apraxia, but, you know, like, who goes after that? Kublaze has been improving it. Rectagon has been improving it. But maybe if you're going to identify a weakness, it would be in double time. And the fact that they wanted to ban 2 DTs is kind of a giveaway of that.
Yeah, I think weakness is a big word when talking about this team, of course. But I think it's more so just respecting Brazil's ability to play it well.
And they're going to go with the Nomad 2 instead as the second ban for the USA. So that's Soulwind, getting banned out by the USA instead. That was another map. I don't know that USA played Nomad 2 last week. Brazil did, and that's of course what they won that match on with that ridiculous SS from Mouse Easy to close things out against Australia. So Brazil, a team that's clearly pretty good with streams and speed in general. So that would be an understandable next ban if you can't go with the 2 DT bans.
Kind of wondering what the pick is for them now.
Yeah, just looking back, the Hard Rock 1 ban coming in as the final ban from Brazil. No real surprise there either. I think it's weird because I don't always think of the US as being good at like raw aim because it's typically not something they kind of resort to playing. But Brazil really didn't look good at aim last week, so the Hard Rock 1 ban makes a lot of sense, I think. But yeah, what do you pick if you're Brazil as your first pick here? You've got some DT, you've got 3 DT options still up. So if that's that DT1 might be a pick from them.
I would expect them to save that one for later, if they intended on picking the DTs. Like first picking your best map is not always the best move because that's when people are nervous, right? So
yeah, we'll get to find out here shortly though. The timer's of course running through. We'll get to get that first pick in, I'm sure, shortly here. I really don't have a good prediction as to what it's going to be, but it is going to be the Nomad 5, so it's going to be Temptation, so they are going to jump right into Speed as their first pick.
that okay, yeah, that's fair enough. That's kind of a comfort pick for this team, I feel like. That is one of the few maps in common that they did share. Both of these teams did both play last week. It was unfortunately a little bit in the favor of the USA, but hard to pool now. Things are different day. And honestly, that's something that you could probably say about any team. Like if you were matched up against the USA, and even though you were playing, like, no matter the map you're playing, the USA probably has a better score.
Yeah, it's just
how it is.
Yeah, unless you like 3-way, 4-way FC, the US just they probably have a better score, but you're gonna go and do your best in the match anyway. I think both these teams are going to have a very good roster for this type of map, though. As you see, you've got Rectagon, Praxia, BTMC, or Swagster. I am going to refer to him as Rectagon. Just make a mental note of that for anyone that doesn't know. Swagster is Rectagon, and that's a much less cringy name. Against Mouse Easy, Nissan, Sanjulift, and Mischa. So Sanjulift showing up. He's been a player that is on the team, but I don't believe has been playing all that much for Brazil so far in the tournament. So it will be interesting to see how he does here today.
I think one last thing I want to talk about is mostly just regarding the difficulty of the pools and how that affects like the power dynamic of this match. I think because quarterfinals now is stepping into the territory where FCs can be rare. You're definitely not expected to 4-way anything. So later pools end up favoring the USA a lot because I think the skill cap on the team, I think it's just no secret that it's much higher. So I think it's still kind of like in between the stages where like Brazil has a good shot, and between that and between the pools being a little bit too hard for them, we'll have to see how they end up performing. But yeah, I'm pretty curious to see that, because on paper, like, this is just not a pool where you'll see 4 FCs on. But I don't know, these two teams are pretty good.
Yeah, I think you won't see 4 FCs, but you will see FCs. And I think that stage of the tournament is the one area where, as we talked about at the very beginning, if anybody's going to challenge the United States, I think it's going to be now. They don't lose the matches they're expected to win in the early rounds, and they outscale pretty much everyone. But at this stage of the tournament, things might get a little closer than otherwise. And we do, already see the Apraxia method, the early break coming in, the strategic miss early on. So definitely no 4-way for the USA here. He's going to avoid that last note miss like last year in the semifinals on Nomad 5, of course. Going to be early advantage USA, though, on the accuracy basis. Double SS coming out from Rectagon and from Backsay, and a break from Sanjulift. This is a pretty high combo map. It's almost 1700 combo. It's just under 3 minutes long, so there's a lot of time for a lot of things to happen. But we're going to see a lot of the comfort level of these teams early on here with a pick like this that requires speed and speed.
I think, as far as Brazil goes, from my understanding, which may be wrong, I think they didn't have Sanjulift last week when they played Australia, and last week they did have pretty visible 4th player syndrome on their speed picks. They didn't know who to play. it was always swapping between Crane Miluko and Tusk, and both of them weren't visibly that comfortable. So now that they have that player, I think this team might be way better than we might give them credit for. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, so far they're doing okay. It's just that one early break from Nissan and Sanji Lift, and no other breaks from anyone else so far, giving USA a little bit of a sizable lead at halfway point. But I think those few misses at the start won't matter too much.
That Mouse Easy miss will matter though, because that's right at halfway through. You cannot miss there, unfortunately for him. That's going to be a sizable chunk of his score just gone instantly. And Vaxay does finally drop his SS. He was holding SS through over 1,000 combo, I believe. This is like, the United States just hits you over the head with the fact that they just kind of don't miss. Like, so many teams seem to be a little bit susceptible to those random misses, like we just saw from Mouse Easy, a couple of those. United States, no one's done that. You had the early break from Apraxia, but other than that, I mean, they're just holding combo like it's nothing. Mischa now the only FC for Brazil, and they've got a lot of ground to try to make up. 400,000 points is, I don't think, doable at this stage of the map.
No, this one's pretty much done.
Yeah.
There's not much to do about that one.
And it's just going to come down to, I mean, a couple players, but this is what we talk about when we talk about the United States and their depth and how well-rounded they are. It doesn't matter what type of map you put in as your first pick. Like, this is obviously something Brazil expected to be very comfortable and confident on, and Brazil just says nah, or United States just says nah. They're like, you know what, we're gonna triple FC this, and Apraxia is just gonna break the first 100 combo, 3.8 million, like whatever. USA just doesn't care.
That's the thing too. Like, that Brazil score is pretty good for this map. Let's be real for a minute. Like, that's actually a really solid score. That's just the kind of opponent that you're against in this match, right? You have to play like above and beyond to like have a chance. But first pick for the USA now, Black Joke's going to be the like swing hidden. I was pretty curious to see what their first pick was, because now that the USA has a different captain, under Apraxia before they had this like, I don't know if this was actually like a strategy. I guess it's just something that I've noticed over time, but they always go for the CS 6.5 Hard Rock as a first pick. They just always did that for like the past like 2 or 3 years. So it's interesting to see now that they're not doing that.
Yeah, I think, especially with a couple of player changes that came in this year, that might have affected things a little bit. You know, in the last couple of years, you had Idke on the team, who is obviously one of the best Hard Rock players in the game. Now that you don't have him, you bring in a couple of players who are a little more hidden favored with Fancy Lad and Kablaze on the team. So I think it kind of opens up the hidden pool to those early picks a little bit more. You feel a little bit more confident about those, maybe. Obviously, Vaxay is just going to FC pretty much every map. Like, he's effectively a non-factor because you can just assume 950k out of him no matter what. But you bring in a couple players who are a little more hidden-oriented, and you bring in a new captain with Fancy Lad, and so he's going to maybe pick a little bit of more along lines that suit him and his skill set, which is considerable.
It's worth noting, Brazil just hasn't really played that much hidden so far throughout the tournament. I think this being probably the hardest hidden map, I think, to keep combo on, not to play, but to get a good score on, this is probably up there. And yeah, kind of curious to see how they end up doing.
Yeah, I mean, all the hiddens are fairly different this round, I feel like. You know, you have the awkward aim in Hidden 1, you have, obviously, Air 8 hidden in Hidden 2, and then you have this kind of swing rhythm in Hidden 3, so very different types of maps, but they only had one hidden, well, the hidden map that they both played last week, each team only played one hidden map. It was Hidden 2 Blood Drain, and USA did win that. It was a pretty close margin, but USA did still appear a bit stronger. And Brazil with a big roster change too. Korean Moloko, Tusk, and Dada all coming in for this one. Both teams swapping out several players. USA bringing in Fancy Lad, Fiery Rage, and Kablaze. So a lot of changes on this one. And it's only the second map of the match. So you see these teams using their rosters to the fullest extent very early on.
Yeah, and I can see why they first picked this, honestly. For the American side, this is just a roster that just seems to be so comfortable on this type of map. Like, these are all names of players you would think when you even see the map at all.
Here I thought you were going to say they picked this because it's a VTuber.
No. I was planning on not mentioning that at all.
No, but it's absolutely true. They're players who you would expect to see on a map like this for sure. Both teams though holding combo pretty comfortably through the first quarter of the map. I mean, nobody's broken as of yet. About 350 combo in, so very comfortable for both squads thus far.
So there's something in this map that there's a couple patterns that require a lot of snappy aim. As Korean Moloko actually finds the first break part of the way of the map. There's a lot of patterns that require a lot of pretty snappy aim, and sometimes snap aim is something that gets affected a lot by nerves. And just playing in OWC in general, like just the context of the match and everything can make you play differently, and that's one of the first things that can go. So I'll have to see if that ends up affecting anyone. There's a couple nasty ones like halfway in the map.
And I think speaking of the nerves thing, there is also the effect of the, Brazil has a couple players in their first OWC like Tusk and Dada. So, that just OWC nerves as first timers, as well as the kind of stage you're on in this particular match, it all can add up and compound a little bit. But so far we've only seen the one break from Korean Moloko, so everybody looking pretty comfortable about halfway through. There have been plenty of tricky patterns. Everybody looks like they're playing them with aplomb.
Oh,
that was break from Tusk, and that is now 2 FCs gone for Brazil. Tusk, one of those up-and-coming players from Brazil, has not been super well known in the tournament scene under this or his previous username. And there's a break from Dada, a slider break, unfortunately timed. But Tusk has become a very, very solid player for a lot of different maps for Brazil, both in Fortitude World Cup and in OSA World Cup here. But this is going to go very heavily in the United States' favor now, as they have 4 FCs still to only 1 of Brazil. This is just going to be another one of those ridiculous USA scores, isn't it? As they go over 500k in the lead now, and they've got the last quarter of the map to come and still have not seen a single break. So, about the USA not outscaling people yet, can we discuss that again? Is it too soon to discuss that again?
I think to play devil's advocate. Okay, so that's 4 FCs to 0 now. Okay, all right, that's a very good first pick from the USA. It doesn't get much better than this, does it? But to play devil's advocate a little bit, like I don't know, a lot of these misses on the Brazilian side were only like just 1 or 2 patterns or anything, right? So, but sometimes it's just that's all that can make the difference. Oh, okay.
Plays fiery
no
both
4-way.
break. No. That's gonna be a 2-way FC, it looks like, and nearly. Okay, it was a 4 FC until the last couple hundred combo. Yeah, 3.8 million. I don't know that anybody's beating that score. That was
that's
ridiculous.
a top score. There's no
That's
way.
insane. Goodness. And like you said though, I mean, Brazil, it's just a couple misses here and there. Like, their scores were not bad. I mean, everybody got 585k was the lowest score. 3 scores over 600k, one at 780k. Like, those were not bad scores. And the United States still win by 1.3 million points.
Yeah, there's just not much you can do about that. Like, no matter who the other team is, I think you just have to play beyond perfect to like take maps off this team sometimes. It makes me feel having years of OWC experience at this point, and like talking to a lot of other people who do with against the USA, it's kind of like you almost have to hope that they give you a point. There's very little that you can do within your own like control to actually get a point, because they're just gonna 4-way everything, or very closely 4-way everything.
Yeah, they'll just casually hold 4-way through, 9/10 of the map and just find 2 breaks in the last 100 combo, at which point your spirit has already been broken. It's, like, you've been talking about this whole match, and I mean, we're only 2 maps in, but you've been talking several times about the mental effect of having to play against the United States, and like, you can see a little bit that just start to come in already. I've seen a couple people talking, like, oh, USA's already won, oh, Brazil's already lost. It's literally 2-0. But it's already just that feeling because of how dominant those 2 points were.
Yeah. The closest map so far, sorry, has been 700k. Like, that's a lot.
The closer of the 2 maps, we should say, because remember, we're literally only 2 maps in. Like, there's a lot of maps to go still. We have to get to 6 points.
Okay,
but,
this pick I'm very curious on. So DT3 coming from Brazil. So yes, they did try to ban a lot of DTs. And we're questioning a little bit if this can arguably be one of USA's quote-unquote weaknesses, right? I don't know if we should really call them weaknesses. They're more like a not strong point. I don't know, but I mean, we'll have to see. I think that this is a good shot from Brazil. They've warmed up. They hopefully don't have any nerves anymore. This should on paper be one of their best maps.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the USA tried to double ban DT, and we're not allowed to since it's not in the rules, so you go into the DT pool. Now, what of course would be very tilting even more is if the USA just pulls out a casual, like, 4 million score on this, and I know they're capable of that because of the players on that team, but this Brazil is probably thinking is, you know, one of their good picks here as well. They've got some players who are very good at this type of thing. Nissan Mausizi will probably come in and put up very good scores, but going back to the point of you have to just expect the USA to 3 or 4-way a lot of maps, and you have to be able to do that yourself to match them. So even on your good picks, it's like, is this a good pick against the United States, or is this a good pick for us? And it kind of comes down to the latter more often than not.
I would expect this to be one of the closer maps, I think. This is definitely the correct pick for Brazil to go with. Make an educated guess and say that.
Yeah, I think my big question marks for the United States on this one is their like 3rd and 4th player, because I think Vaxe and Rectagon will both do very well in this, but Apraxia has been a little bit of a hit or miss player in recent months, and you know, BTMC obviously good at streams, but he's only beginning to become a good speed and DT player. Like, that's not his known skill set. He's just trying to improve it. So this might be the one area that the United States has a little bit of a harder time with. And Brazil, of course, we know is quite good at this type of map. So, as you said, this is probably the optimal pick here. It's definitely a better one than some of the other options.
And you can see that in the accuracy difference already. Praxia and BTMC struggling a lot of the openings, I guess for extra as well. All 4 players on the Brazilian side just have much better accuracies overall than the USA, if you exclude Vaxe, of course, but looks like it's equalizing a little bit, though.
Oh,
closer than I would think.
Though, does break on the longer stream. And, okay, so this is, you know, the saying about the United States, I think, should kind of just be if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So let's see what happens based on that one break from Sanjula, with about a third of the map gone. And there go Nissan and Mausizi. Like, you just can't do that, Brazil. I'm sorry, but you cannot do that. You cannot 3-way combo reset within 100 combo of each other a third of the way into the map against the United States. You literally cannot afford that. They will not let you get away with it.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, too. It's just one note for the both of them, but I mean, even regardless, Sanjula finding another break, though, there's still a 4-way halfway in the map now from the USA, so I mean,
I mean, Mistia, of course, still on the FC, as I say that he breaks. It's 0 FCs for Brazil against 4 from the United States. I can only shake my head and throw up my hands and say, what are you supposed to do? Because we're 2/3 of the way into the map. The United States has a 700,000 point lead, and it's only going to continue to grow. This team is just ridiculous.
yeah, there's just not much to do.
I mean, like,
this is what the mental debuff of playing the USA does. Like, that's the feeling you get as a player. It's like there's just not much to do. What can you do? They don't miss.
Yeah, you have to. I think you just have to go into the match and you have to hide all of the UI elements and just pretend you're playing solo offline and hope for the best and never look at the scores, because if you look at the scores, you'll see that the USA is probably 4-weighing, and you'll just feel even worse. I mean, they finally find the break on BTMC near the ending there, but it's just not going to matter, and they're going to 3-way FC this, because, of course, they are. 4.2 million. Like, I'm literally just waving my hands in the air above my head because I don't know what I'm supposed to say about that. You're not supposed to do... Or they're 2-way, excuse me, Vaxe missed the last note. A little Vaxe troll ending there. But, like, literally, what are you supposed to do against that?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, honestly, because if you look at Brazil's scores... they're pretty close to FC's, honestly. Nissan only with 1 slider break, Mausizi with the same slider break, I think on the exact same note, and then a miss later on. And Sanjula only found 2 breaks. Like, that's 3 very close FCs, but this didn't happen, and that's a 1.7 million point lead on that map.
Yeah, I mean, we're 3 points into the match, and the United States has won by a successive margin of 713,000, 1.3 million, and 1.7 million. I mean, what do you do? what do you try? Where do you find the mental strength? Where do you even begin to try to come back from that kind of loss? I mean, that's just demoralizing to lose by that kind of gap on your own pick.
Now going for the Tech Nomad. So I think this is the first stage of the tournament where we'll actually start seeing, I mean, we probably have been seeing a little bit. I haven't paid too much attention to the other picks in the previous matches, but there's quite a significant change in the way Nomad 4 was mapped, I think. For the past 2 or 3 weeks, I'll just say players, I think, were not really liking those mapping styles too much. Like it felt very unfair or like random, so we haven't seen anything. Reminder that Nomad 4 last week was the least picked map by very, very, very far. It had 1 pick, and I think the next one in line had like 6. So I think this is the first time we actually get to see some of the teams start getting a little bit comfortable on the Nomad 4s and bring them out, and we'll have to see what they do, because we haven't seen much Nomad tech at all so far.
Yeah, this is a pretty big switch up. We did see the United States as one of the only, if not the only teams to play Nomad 4 last week. They did, of course, put up a double FC because, you know, yeah. Vaxay Kablaze on the FC last week. But this is a little bit different. There's some tricky patterns in this, and like you said, you know, I think players are a little bit enjoying this one, I should say, a little bit more. They find it a little bit better of a pick for their particular skill sets, so I just expect the USA to like 3-way this, because Vaxay, Fancy Lad, and Kablaze will all, you know, pop off, but it's a very different type of map. You know, it brings in the slider aim, it brings in some streams and some spaced patterns, so I think there's a lot more you can miss on a map like this than some of the previous Nomad 4s, but despite it feeling a little more fair, you can still miss on a lot of things just because it's a tech map, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the ending on this is going to be pretty notorious for anyone who doesn't actively play a lot of tech. There's a lot of aim control required at really weird times if you're not too used to it, so I do expect some scores to fall apart near the end.
And we're going to get to find out here. Halfway into this match now for the United States, 3-0, double break point if they can consolidate on this one. Korean Maloko with the early break. I feel like it's imperative the UFC through the intro at the very least to build up a couple hundred combo. There's this little stream and then the kind of spaced doubles and quint right after it. How are we making it through there? I've seen a couple people miss, not a whole lot. And then the map really begins in earnest once you get into this drop, and that's where things start to really happen. And Fancy Lad will be the first to break in the United States, so
yeah, it is one of those pretty random places where there's just a lot of difficulty that does not feel like it should be there. Like as a player, like it when you play a map like this, a lot of the map just feels really comfortable, and then you kind of get too comfortable and you forget that it's actually kind of hard. So that catches Fancy out right there on a relatively easy part.
United States still holding the lead thanks to their ridiculous accuracy. 1x100 on Vaxay, Fiery, and Kablaze. Through this so far, like halfway through the map, despite the combo lead for Korean Maloko over Fancy Lad, they just now took over the lead for Brazil. However, Brazil still has the 3-way and the longer combo in Korean Maloko. There's only going to be the last third. And this map is a lot closer than the others because there are a lot of combos still alive coming into the last quarter of the map.
Yeah, and there's not much. It's only about 30 seconds at the end, but it is a very, very hard 30 seconds. Brazil have to hold really strong here if they want a single point.
Oh, Nissan and Mischief both break. Well, goodbye.
Right. Okay, well, let's see what
happens.
How many people break here.
Nissan missing again. These streams are quite tricky. The aim control, as you said, is very tough to pull off. Korean Maloko goes as well. Mousesi now the only FC left for Brazil. United States still rolling the 3-way post. Fiery Rage and Kablaze still at 1x100, by the way. No. They did not just double 1x100 that map. There's no way they actually just did that. You don't just do that. That's not okay. That's not okay.
400s too? What is that?
They just got 6 100s between 3 of them. That's fewer 100s than the best accuracy on Brazil. Between 3 of them. I am out of words. I'm out of words, and it's only the quarterfinals.
Okay, that is like honestly one of the most impressive performances I've ever seen in the World Cup on a quarterfinal stage. This accuracy is insane. what you gotta feel for Brazil, man. Like, what do you do against that? I don't know. It kind of sound like a broken record, and like it's just kind of how it goes when you, especially when you commentate like United States matches. Like, it's hard not to mention how dominant they are, but you get to see now how dominant they are. This is absurd.
I would like to also point out both of those 100s were slider ends. They both got 1084 combo, and max combo is 1085. So the two 100s that Fiery and Kablaze got were slider ends. Just, I don't know if that's better or worse, but like, what the hell? I don't know. So now, if you're Brazil, like, do you just say, screw it, we're gonna pick Nomad 6? Like, just pick something completely at random. I don't know what you do at this point in the match.
I want them to go for that DT1, like, at this point. Never mind. All right, okay. So it's going to be A8 hidden. This does seem like something I would respect Brazil's roster for. Like, they have a lot of players that I feel would be really, really, really comfortable on something like this.
Yeah, they have Mouse Easy, they have Nissan. Those two I think will be in for this pretty much guaranteed. Looks like maybe Misgen Tusk if their roster in the lobby is actually already set. This is a more mechanically simple map, I would say. Just the reading aspect of it becomes a bigger part of the difficulty. But man, it's still tricky. It's still low AR. It's still tough. They have a good roster for it, but I think it's still hard. United States, well, Fancy Lad Area, Kablaze, and little did we know, low AR hidden BTMC joining the fray.
Yep. I'm gonna spoil this a little bit. We did play this team a lot in scrims, and he can play AR hidden.
Just in case the United States wasn't good enough already, BTMC, known hard rock stream player, has now become a DT speed player and a low AR hidden player. In case he wasn't good enough already, he wants to really make his name as one of these well-rounded top-end tournament players. This will be one of those rare maps that we appear to not be seeing Vaxei for. I guess if there's one thing that Vaxei isn't like literally the best in the world at, it might be low AR hidden. Like, technically speaking, there's players who are definitely better than him at that. I feel like he just doesn't play it very much, so I don't know if he bothers practicing AR8s, to be honest.
I think we all know that he can play them. Like, he definitely could play this just fine. So that's not even like a part of the question whether he can or not. I think they're just trying to give some more time to other people, get them prepared for some of the later matches maybe, because at this point this match just looks like it's already over. I want to say, like, it's just everything is we have not seen a close map yet. Hopefully we do, but it's just kind of how it is, right? So I mean, maybe if they're USA, you kind of want to play some other people, give them some more experience, right? So we're seeing 3 of the new members this year, right? So Fancy, Kablaze, and BTMC, their first time in OWC. So maybe they just want some more screen time, you know?
And I think, you know, this is a interesting place to put them in, because a map like this, it obviously requires the reading, it requires aim control and kind of some finger control as well, since it's a little bit lower BPM at only 174. So having players come in and say, I can confidently play something that requires like nice snappy aim and finger control in addition to some linear aim, is a place to see how they do very interestingly. And we already do see a break from BTMC, but it's matched by Dada, so it's gonna just be a reset between those two.
Okay. Harry finds a break. Keep in mind too, the combo amounts are pretty low on this map, but I think just because it's not a very dense, like object-wise, it's not a very dense map, obviously, like by nature. So overall combo on this, I think, is pretty low. I think top combo is like 800 or 900 or something. Fancy finds a break. There we go. So Brazil have a lead, like an actual lead. They're alive, guys. They're not out yet.
Yeah, if there was going to be a type of map that the USA could, technically speaking, lose to Brazil on, other than the speed map, once we saw that wasn't going to happen, maybe the low AR hidden, just because Brazil does have this really good roster for this type of map. See the triple FC still on Nissan, Mouse Easy, and on Tusk, and another break from Fancy Lad. We're only halfway through, and this one's kind of feels a little over. That combo gap is huge.
It is good to see. It is honestly good to see that this was not a sweep.
This is a very good performance from Brazil on this pick, looking a lot more comfortable and confident than they have so far in the match. Now, there is still a third of the map to come. There's a break from Tusk. That's a little bit of a chink in the armor, but Fancy Lad continuing to struggle. This is unlike him. Aryu, Kablaze, and VTMC all have combos. So if Nissan and Mouse Easy both reset, nope, doesn't matter now because Kablaze broke as well. Nissan and Dada going to bring this one home, I think, for Brazil.
Nissan's accuracy as well. I didn't want to mention it, but wow.
Yeah, he is, as I've talked about when discussing Brazil previously, he is incredibly good at low AR picks, whether with or without hidden. He is quite solid on this type of thing. Very late break there from Dada, but it is not going to matter. That is going to be a point on the board for Brazil. For everything we've said about how one-sided this match was, this map definitely favored them. It's going to be about a 350,000 or so, maybe 400,000 point lead.
100 FC from Nissan, I think?
Yeah, as a 1x100, that is a very good play from Mr. Nissan. Dada with the big combo as well as Tusk. Mouse Easy, of course, doing his thing. And there goes our sweep, and it is a good performance from Brazil that does it. That was very solid from all four members of their team on that pick.
Yeah, I think as that map was just happening, right? I wanted to mention that I felt like Brazil was just having like their usual performance on this compared to the other maps, and it's kind of as if we talked about where the only points you get against USA is the points they give to you, and they definitely gave that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end, you really just have to respect Nissan's FC on this. This is not a map that I think a lot of people would be comfortable FCing. Like, this is like a one-trick type map. I think that when you get to FC territory, so that's such a monumental score from him, and it's definitely something that Brazil needed. Just like a little bit of a sign of life, and I think most importantly, they get one more pick now. At least one more pick. I would like to see, we're going to see DT4 from the USA, but I would like to see Brazil play DT1, I think, just based off the fact that USA just tried to ban that and they couldn't.
Yeah, I think that would not be a bad pick at all from Brazil. We've seen them, as we've said, look very good on DT. Of course, we're going to get a very different DT type of map here first, but yeah, that DT1 might be an option for Brazil if they want to try and claw back another point on their own pick, but I think DT4 is technically speaking winnable for them as well.
Yeah, so this, on paper, I think unfortunately, should go heavily towards the way of the USA, I think, because this is, I think most people will agree this is the hardest map in the pool. By a pretty significant margin. Requires a lot of very specific skill sets that combined together makes it so it's pretty hard to have a player that's comfortable on this and can perform really well. Like, it just has a lot of finger control. It's 10.3, which is it's a weird mix sometimes, especially in the quarterfinals. I think a lot of people would expect that to be a lot lower approach rate. It's also really long. This is a really long pick, and it kind of tests your stamina a little bit. It's 219 BPM, but I mean, it's pretty hard to get good scores on this, so I think this is where we might get to see USA's skill cap show a little bit, as if it hasn't already. But
yeah, it's I mean, it's 3 minutes long, 219 BPM, very consistent difficulty for that entire time, almost 1800 combo. This is actually, I believe, the highest combo map in the entire pool. It's
yeah, this is
one
really
of the longest maps. Yeah, very dense type of pick. So as you said, maybe we'll get to see, with this being one of the hard maps in this pool, maybe we'll get to see US, well, some more of their skill cap, I guess I should say. Not their skill cap for the first time, but
I think it's on paper based off of how the other maps have been, where the maps have been relatively lower in difficulty, I think, compared to this one. I think just on paper, this should just be a snub. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I am, but just on paper, this looks like it to me.
Once again, looking at Brazil, always expecting good things out of Mouse Easy, always expecting good things out of Nissan. So I think it's going to be the other two that'll be a little more interesting to see. Sanjulif has had his struggles in this match so far. Meanwhile, the United States, you've got Fancy Lad and Vaxe joining Apraxia and Mr. Swagster. I can't say that name. It just doesn't want to happen.
You gotta say it with pride.
Yeah, right. No, I'm not able to do that. But you get into these very difficult, you get longer streams, burst, finger control. This has a lot of difficulty to this map, and so far everybody making it look easy. A four-way full combo for both sides so far.
Yeah, I think as the map goes on, we'll start to see the stamina aspect being tested a little bit. Right now, we're relatively really early on.
Reminds me of one of those maps like Heart of Night, where you just have to continue playing this type of thing for 3 minutes straight.
That's exactly what it is. And there it is, Mouse Easy. Oh, that was really unfortunate too. I think he missed on a stack.
Is this a little bit faster than Heart of Night? I don't remember the BPM of that map offhand. And there goes Sanji Lift as well. So be that as it may, it's just that thing where you have to have that ridiculous consistency because the United States is going to put up these huge combos. Nissan and Korean Malako keeping it together, but Mouse Easy and Sanji Lift not having a great time, and their accuracy is dropping as well. There goes Korean Malako. His accuracy dropped, and then his combo went with it. And the United States still has a four-way full combo because, of course, they do.
Yeah, I think just echoing, I think the sentiment I get from a lot of the people that are playing this, because obviously I'm not playing this, it's just the fact that it's so long, and the fact that it's air 10.3 just requires so much focus and attention. And of all the skill sets I mentioned about, there's actually just so much aim control as well that's required in this, based on the approach rate alone. So USA here really showing their absolute mastery of it. It just requires you to be so versatile to be able to play this, and they're all doing it so comfortably.
And there goes Nissan, the last FC gone from Brazil. Like we said, going into this map, it's a very interesting place to introduce 10.3 on a very long finger control map like this. That's not where you normally think to see 10.3 coming from. So when you put together those skill sets, man, these players have to be so good at so many things on a map like this, and the USA just makes it look so easy. I don't know. It's another pick where, Brazil, it's like they should be able to do pretty well, and their score is not bad. But
they
USA's
really
just four-weighing
the hardest map in the pool.
Yep, they are. Well, you talked about seeing the United States' skill cap, and I think we're doing that here. That is a four-way full combo, 4.4 million points, because, of course it is. That is a 2.4 million point win.
What is that?
Actually, 2.2 million points. That might be the single biggest victory I have ever seen in a 4v4.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
2.2 million points.
I really don't. I'm trying to recall the last time I've seen a map over 2 million points. That is so ridiculous. What do you do?
I don't know. I don't know.
Who's playing this team in grand finals? Good luck.
And you talk about a USA team that comes in, they switch out 4 of their players, and they're still this good. I would almost argue that they are maybe better than last year. They don't have Idki, but their skill floor went up, even if their skill ceiling probably stayed similar. I don't know the skill ceiling necessarily increased, but their skill floor certainly did. And that is a 5-1 lead now, and one of the most absurd plays that you're going to see.
I'm speechless. How have we seen so many just dominant maps in this one match? It's only quarterfinals, and they're looking so good. And just on the flip side of the coin, I'd like to remind everyone that Brazil is a really good team, by the way. They're really, really good.
Yeah.
They're getting completely dismantled on these maps. It's crazy to see.
Yeah, Brazil, they qualified as the 9th seed, barely off of making it into top 8. Beat Australia, who we had discussed being one of the pre-tournament favorites to go very far, into finals, grand finals tier. Brazil beat them last week, 5-3. It was Brazil. They straight up won that match. And they come in this week, and they are just getting completely demolished by this United States squad.
Yes.
And we get to see Fremont 3. Let's go.
This is the pick. This is a smart pick. Curious to see who's playing mod on this.
Yeah, I don't actually know. If Dada stays in the lobby, he might actually be in as kind of like a hidden tank, so that they can allow their top players to play no mod on it and look for better scores than they might get with mods. But I'm not really 100% sure. I think USA probably goes Fancy Lad. Is it Fancy Lad hidden? And then their other a fourth hard rock and then Vaxay Nomad, or do you go Vaxay Fancy Nomad like Fiery someone hard rock and hidden? Not actually sure. We're gonna have to wait and see on Hugo mods. I think we'll probably see like the minimal mods on this one. We'll see one hidden, one hard rock. It's not like the free mod 2 pick where you see teams over modding a lot.
I don't know. I've seen a little bit of both here. This map is pretty notoriously more comfortable with hard rock. I think just because the approach rate makes the really awkward patterning pretty hard at base 9. Because I think indirectly as well, hidden is pretty hard on this. We've only seen this map being played once so far, I believe. And it was picked in Poland versus Finland, where Bartek actually have seen this with hidden, which I think is extremely hard. Because on the other side of the point, the other player for the Finland side playing hidden got 300k, and that's not good. It's just that's what this map is. It's pretty hard to play with hidden, I think, in comparison with hard rock. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some comfort hard rock picks, but it doesn't look like we are. It looks like Korean Maluko with the hard rock, and I think it was Fiery Rage. Yep. So no overmodding from either side, and Kablaze Dada with the hiddens.
Yeah, so kind of what I would have expected for this in terms of mods, where you have maybe like somebody who's comfortable on hard rock, maybe somebody who's comfortable on hidden. I think in Dada's case, it's a little bit more of a tank mod. And then you put your top 2 players on each team on Nomad. You put Fancy Lad and Vaxay on Nomad. You put Nissan and Mouse Easy on Nomad. And you say, hey guys, go FC Nomad, and we'll just do what we can to back you up if we're not 100% comfortable on those mods. And
yeah, I feel like this map is really comfortable, no mod, but just either mod just makes it a lot harder. So it really depends on those 4 players to. We're basically just watching a 2v2 here. I expect all the no mods to keep an FC on this. We've seen all 4 of them play really, really well throughout this match. Mousey's and Nissan as well included. So Fancy and Vaxay. I think, yeah, I think it heavily depends on the modded players, and so far that's going in the USA's favor, as both of the Brazilian ones have broken, I believe. No,
just Dada. Yeah. Oh, Cream just broke. So you were like 2 seconds ahead of time.
Clairvoyant.
Yeah, you're clear. I was gonna say prescient, but that works too. Yeah, and like I was saying, you know, it's kind of a little bit of a tank mod. Dada's a very good player, but he's not quite up to the skill cap of some of the others in this particular map. And he's good with hidden, but that, you know, just not quite up to that next tier. And so, you know, putting him on hidden is like, he's going to get an okay score, and we're going to allow the other players to try to carry. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's maybe going to work out for them. But this is a pretty long map. It's, I think, the longest map in the pool, almost 4 minutes. So there's a lot of time left in this one for sure. But USA, man, already with a couple 100,000 point lead, still the 4-way. Make that 3-way, Fancy Lad.
Oh,
the first of the 4 Nomad players to break.
Okay, that's actually kind of huge. Hold on.
Yeah, I did not expect a Nomad player to break, especially not right there. But remember, it's still a 3FC to 2 advantage, so the United States not going to feel too bad yet. But if Fancy Lad continues to struggle, this could get a little more interesting for sure.
We're not going to get to see the effect of that miss too much, I think, yet. I think it'll start scaling near the end, but...
Oh, Fire Range breaks as well. Combo advantage Brazil. Kablaze goes too?
There we go.
Wow. All right. Things.
I was wondering when it was going to
swing.
happen. This map is really hard with mods, as a reminder. Like, they were doing really good up until that point, but now the 2 no-mod FC advantage for Brazil is definitely going to start to swing it back in their favor. I think they see a break, though, here. See if that impacts anyone, but I mean, I don't think specifically their 2 players, like Nissan and Mouse Easy, are seasoned veterans. I don't think this type of thing affects them, but yeah, I mean, the lead is still in the USA right now, but it is going very, very quickly in favor of the Brazilians, and the last half of the map is much, much easier compared to the first one, so I believe that we're about to see a 5-2 here.
Yeah, this is a very good performance from those mod players on Brazil. You know, we expected Nissan and Mouse Easy to FC, but Dada and Korean Maluko putting up very big combos through that last third to half of the map. Really key to this lead, and I think they're just going to take this because this ending slows down pretty considerably.
Yeah, I don't really expect any miss at the end here, maybe from the modded players, but this ending is just significantly easier than the rest of the map. If you've made it to this point with a combo, congratulations. And yeah, Brazil is now building a very, very comfortable lead. And I think to the credit of their modded players as well, but both of them have recovered very, very good since the beginning.
And what's interesting about this is that it's almost just more about where those misses were than the fact that they occurred at all, because Fiery Rage and Kablaze missed at just really inopportune times, and Korean Malika and Dada both broke very early, so they're able to get that score back up pretty well, and the double FC from Nissan and Mouse Easy, not much you can do about that when you only have one Nomad FC. And that is a second point on the board for Brazil, so, you know, congratulations to everyone who had Brazil getting at least 2 points in their pick'em. You're now more correct than the people who said 6-1 or 6-0 USA. Wow, Leo saying in chat, high pick'ems. All right, perfect timing.
Yeah, I think this was actually, I mean, it kind of sucks to say, especially if you are fancy, but I think that was a no mod difference right there. The modded players got very, very similar scores, if not tied scores. So it was entirely just on the one no mod miss there that just made the difference. It's a bit unfortunate, but I don't think it's going to matter too much for the Americans, that they're still in a very, very comfortable position. And there's a fun fact, I think. The USA in this match have lost more maps that they've lost the entirety of last year.
Yeah, that's more maps than they lost in any single match last year, and I think they lost, was it 3 maps total last year, or was it just 2? I know they won the first 2 rounds 5-1. Did they win the third 6-1? Or was it 5-1 there as well? Or 6-0? I know they've at least... That's more maps than they lost in a single match last year. I know that much.
Yeah, I forgot who it was against, but I think I do believe they lost 3 maps.
Yeah, they lost 1 to Turkey, 1 to France, 1 to Australia. If memory serves, I think that's correct. And then they swept against Russia. They swept against UK. They swept against, or not UK. Was it you? They swept against Russia. They swept against South Korea in the grand finals. I'm missing a match in there, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that was last year. I don't quite remember too well, but we're gonna see Nomad 6 now, and that's quite an interesting pick, I think. I wouldn't really expect USA to go for this too much. They certainly have the players that are comfortable on this, but I don't know. I think you'd have to respect a couple of the Brazilian players playing this. I'm not sure why Mouse Easy is not. Oh, there you go. He's restarting his game. Okay.
Yeah, we'll sort that out. Man, these rhythm-heavy picks are very hard to predict. I feel like it's all about just which team has the best finger control players. That's such a nice song. I'm kind of just here for the song.
Yeah, on this map, you're going to see Fiery Rage, I think, just absolutely dominate. This is a very, very, very strong map for him, I think, at least in terms of accuracy.
I think Fire Rage, Fancy Lad, also, I've seen him play some things like this just ridiculously well. I think back to seeing some of the maps he played in United States Cup this summer. God, I forget the name of the map offhand, but there was a finger control map in one of the rounds. I just remember seeing him going mode on. That's just the type of thing that some of these guys are super, super good at, so... I don't know. I like the inclusion of the Nomad 6. I want to just say that right now. I think it fills a unique skill set that really most other maps do not tend to test. That heavy rhythm and finger control is something that you don't always see, where you get a map that mixes, you know, the 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, and 1/6 rhythms all in one map. Super cool, and always a fun type of map to watch, even if they're not always the most fun to play for some people.
And there's actually a lot of stuff like beyond just the active rhythm that you're playing in this, like playing around slider ends, for example, on this. Like there's a lot of really quick slider ends that you must like react to accordingly. There's just a lot that goes into the rhythm selection for this, and so it will really go to show like who has a really, really good sense of rhythm beyond anything else. There's not much aim. There's like some minimal finger control, I guess, but always nice to see picks like that. Of course, I'm a little biased, but
rhythm player Azer likes rhythm maps more at 11. Still no breaks. Everyone making it 400 combo through at least with FCs intact. you do get those little back and forths in some of these tricky sliders, Tame. But yeah, like you said, not a lot of aim requirement. XX Blues and Mouse Easy going to find the first couple of breaks for Brazil, though. Is this the beginning of the end for them? Not quite yet, as Cablaze finds a break for the USA. This is another one that's a very note-dense map, despite being not all that long. It has a lot of combo to it, a lot of circles to click, as it were, so... Got a lot of combo to build up, and it's a 3-0 AFC to a double FC in favor of the United States, but Cablaze having a little bit of trouble there. Will need to build her combo back up to match the other players. It's going to be a bit of a deficit. So far, though, United States with 135,000 point lead that'll, I believe, continue to grow, but Louise and Mouse Easy both building combo back up, and Misja and Dada both holding combo very comfortably. This is something that I think a player like Dada is actually very useful on, because he's very good with rhythm in general. You know, being a mapper and being somebody who pays close attention to rhythms, I think this is the type of thing that suits him in a kind of unique way that not everybody is great at.
Yeah, I mean, Dada currently has the highest accuracy in the lobby, not by much. Fancy and Fiery are very, very close, and now they're all tied. Got single 100, but doing really good. But yeah, I mean, only a quarter of the map left. There's still a pretty sizable lead for USA, so...
The map never lets up, and there's another break from Cablaze. That score not looking too hot. I don't know if there's enough on Louise and Mouse Easy to make up for the... I don't know if that'll make up the difference, but...
We'll see if we get some slider breaks at the end. No, okay, well, Dada finds one, but no other slider breaks here. And
there goes Misha. It is now over, unfortunately.
All right,
that's going to do it.
That's pretty much it. It looks like the Cablaze miss was actually not a real miss, too.
Oh yeah, one of those appears to have been a Bancho break. We do see those here and there. But another really good performance here from the United States. Like, a three-way full combo on this map is pretty strong, because not everybody has players that are all this good at this type of map. Yeah, it's a three-way full combo, 3.5 million, just to put an exclamation mark on this match, and the United States is going to take it 6-2 with some absolutely outrageous performances. But I do not want to take away from the performance of Brazil, because despite the fact that they lost some of those maps quite badly, they also played some of those maps very well and just had the misfortune to run into an absolute juggernaut of a team in the United States.
Yeah, this was... I mean, on paper, just you look at the results and you look at everything, it just looks like it's all the USA show. But keep in mind, they're very good. I think Brazil may have just taken the most points that anyone will get off the USA, at least predictably, right? So, still a very, very good performance from them. So, and again, this is a winners bracket match, so it's certainly not over. The story of Brazil is certainly not over. They'll be continuing on against I think some more enjoyable opponents.
Yeah, nobody wants to play the United States. That is just not a matchup you want to pull. That's like the ultimate unluck. But the United States now, of course, does become our first semifinalists. They will await the winner of the marquee matchup tomorrow. I think South Korea versus Germany. That's a big one tomorrow morning. And of course, tonight, our second quarterfinal. You guys, Canada versus Hong Kong. That's our next matchup. I know you're probably a little biased, but what are your thoughts on like how your team feels and how they feel about that matchup with that one being the next match?
I'll save it for the match. I guess we'll see what happens.
All right, fair enough. Brazil will be going down to the losers bracket.
Last time I felt very confident going against Taiwan, and it turns out Taiwan was pretty good.
Yeah. Speaking of Taiwan, Brazil might be facing them in losers bracket next week. They have the winner of France versus Taiwan there, so we might get more Taiwan. But yeah, for now, I mean, what can you say about the United States? They're just really good at this video game, I guess. They click those circles really well.
Yeah, I think there's always a little bit of question early rounds, because early rounds, like, the pools are easier. It's more about consistency than skill cap, and you have some upsets sometimes. So there's always some questions being thrown around, like, okay, is the USA still this dominant? Is there still someone that is going to challenge them or anything? And I think most people have their eyes on Germany in order to do that. So that's why I'm particularly really interested to see Germany versus Korea, because that is probably going to be the best match, I think, of the round. Those are 4th and 5th seed. Germany expected to be easily a podium team in the eyes of many people this year. And I think Korea is looking to be one of those underdogs as well, to be a podium team. I say underdogs as they were second place last year, but they did replace a lot of people this year, and they showed up pretty good. So make sure you tune in for the remaining matches today, but certainly make sure you don't miss Germany versus Korea if you want some good action, because that's going to be a match to honestly, all three of these matches are going to be pretty good, but I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on this one. I think you don't want to miss that one.
Yeah, these are going to be, as you can see on the screen, the remaining 3 quarterfinals. Yeah, you don't want to miss any of those, but Germany versus Korea, I think the biggest one in the eyes of many. And of course, we also have the losers bracket. There's some potential matches to come tomorrow. So basically, stay tuned for some great OSU tonight and tomorrow. But for now, congratulations, United States, and thank you all for watching.
Yep, take care, everyone. See you soon.
See you guys.